The news day continues here on One News Now. I'm Charles Lejano. PHIVOLCS confirms that the volcanic smog, or VOG, emanating from Taal Volcano has now reached the metro. In a statement released earlier today, PHIVOLCS said satellite data shows that the VOG from Taal Volcano in Batangas has indeed reached Calabarzon, Metro Manila, and other parts of Luzon. PHIVOLCS initially announced that the haze reported in Metro Manila was from pollution caused by human activities. To shed more light on this matter, we have with us on the line PHIVOLCS Senior Science Research Specialist Paul Alanis. Good afternoon, Dr. Alanis. Let's talk about the statement from Dr. Solidum yesterday when he said that the haze that was observed in Metro Manila may have been caused by pollution. So what has changed since then? What has changed the evaluation?
Okay, so yesterday we said that the haze that is spotted over Metro Manila was most likely caused by human activity, that is air pollution. However, as part of scientific procedure, we double-checked our data and cross-checked with other sources such as the NASA ozone mapping instrument and the ozone mapping profiler suite, and indeed they confirmed that the sulfur dioxide that came from Taal Volcano actually drifted towards the north and spread out over a much larger area instead of just the Taal Volcano caldera. So it has reached up to Zambales in the Zambales province and Bataan in the north, and of course over Batangas, Laguna, Cavite, Rizal, and Bulacan, and including Pampanga.
Dr. Alanis, some netizens have been calling out PHIVOLCS over this specific piece of confusion regarding the latest advisories on the VOG. What do we have to say about this?
Well, the statement yesterday was based on the current available data as of yesterday. However, again, as part of a procedure, we then double-checked the data and cross-checked with third-party sources. And of course, just this morning, we then released a statement in correcting our earlier assertion of no VOG over Metro Manila.
Right. That being said, Dr. Alanis, the VOG is here. Could you talk about some of the health hazards that are posed by VOG and how to prevent these?
Okay. So far, for Metro Manila, the haze that you're seeing actually is not just merely composed of sulfur dioxide or the VOG, but has already mixed with the smog that is also caused by human activity, that is the air pollution coming from vehicles, as well as discharge coming from factories. But in any case, for sulfur dioxide effects on the body, there is, of course, you can experience eye irritation, irritation in the mouth and respiratory system, such as the throat, and of course, some people complain of difficulty in breathing and coughing fits.
You mentioned some of the areas earlier, but then could you tell us which areas are most affected by this VOG, and until when can we expect the VOG to remain in Metro Manila?
Okay. For the most affected areas are those areas directly adjacent to the Taal Volcano, that is the province of Batangas, Cavite, and Laguna. But as you go further out, the VOG becomes much less diluted, or that the concentration of the sulfur dioxide becomes much lower.
Right, the VOG will be here for the next couple of days, I suppose. Could you tell us about the current state of Taal, and is there a reason to be concerned?
Okay, so yesterday the sulfur dioxide peaked at over 14,000 tons. But, the day before, June 28th. But yesterday, at June 29th, the sulfur dioxide emission actually went down by almost half, at only 8,982 tons. So it's getting lower. However, because of the current weather system prevailing over Luzon, there's not much. There's very little chance of the VOG dissipating soon.
All right, thank you for those clarifications. That was FIVOC Senior Science Research Specialist Paul Alanes. The Health Department says it is ready to face Senator Manny Pacquiao's proposed investigation into supposed corruption in the agency. Speaking to News 5, Health Secretary Francisco Duque said he finds no problem with Pacquiao seeking to look into the agency's budget for possible corruption, as this is his job. Duque also said that the DOH is already preparing a report on updates on their budget utilization. Recall that yesterday, Pacquiao accepted President Duterte's challenge to name officials or agencies involved in corruption. Pacquiao responded that he plans to start with the Health Department.
Inatasan ko na yung akin Undersecretary for Administration and Finance na magbigay ng updates. Ang DOH naman handang-handa na ipakita kung paano ginamit ang budget mula Bayanihan 1 and Bayanihan 2 and other DBM allotment to the Department of Health.
Duque also clarified that the bulk of the procurement of essential equipment, such as PPEs and face masks, as well as COVID-19 testing kits, were handled by the DBM's procurement service. He also noted that the DOH never handled funds from the country's loans for the inoculation drive, as the money went straight to vaccine manufacturers. Duque admits, however, that part of the funds have yet to be dispersed.
Hindi pa rin ang pondo na hindi nagagamit dahil nga meron nga problema tayo sa mga suppliers na hindi pa makapag-deliver. So hindi naman tayo pwede magbayad kung walang schedule of delivery.
Opposition Senator Frank Drilon says it is imperative for Senator Manny Pacquiao to back up his corruption allegations against administration officials. Speaking with Agenda, Drilon said that his fellow lawmaker has confirmed that corruption is a way of life under the Duterte administration. Drilon also admitted that this internal feud between the ruling party is good for the opposition. Despite this, the veteran lawmaker hopes that Pacquiao can stay true to his word.
Senator Manny Pacquiao has taken this position that indeed corruption is a way of life in this administration. So I hope that Senator Pacquiao, and I'm sure that he will be able to bring out, to back up what he said with credible evidence. Otherwise, he can kiss his presidential ambitions goodbye kung wala namang siya masabing ebidensya o hindi siya maging credible if he cannot approve what he said.
Drilon also tells the public to closely watch public spending, especially since the campaign season is drawing near.
I must put now a warning. Everyone should watch out. Next year is an election year. Number two, we have very limited resources. Putting the resources in the right places is critical to our recovery from the pandemic, which made us suffer because of this mismanaged campaign. I hope that our economic managers will not get influenced by the political winds that would dictate on the allocation of the very limited resources that we see next year. It is an election year.
The NGCP says take-or-pay contracts will not solve the power supply issue in the Luzon grid. The agency said this after the Energy Department insisted that they adapt the scheme to encourage power plants to produce electricity. In an interview with Agenda, NGCP spokesperson Cynthia Alabanza explained that take-or-pay contracts won't address the supply shortage in the grid. That's because the NGCP itself is not allowed to purchase power for consumption.
Kung magkakaroon tayo ng pagninipis, magkakaroon pa rin tayo ng pagninipis even if we do the take or pay. Kasi bawal po sa batas na mag-engage si NGCP sa generation activities. We're supposed to be daanan lang. Hindi kami pwedeng mag-supply. Pero ganun o ang mangyayari.
The government's free ride program on EDSA Carousel, which is meant to augment limited capacity operations of the MRT, ends today. Meanwhile, the LTFRB says it has reached out to the budget department to be able to use its own funds to extend the program. To give us more details on this, we have Gerard de la Peña reporting live from EDSA, along EDSA in Quezon City. Good afternoon, Gerard. Could you tell us the situation there at EDSA right now?
Charles, today is the last day of the provision of free rides as well as the service contracting program of the LTFRB, as the law that provides for funds for such programs expires today. We've asked a lot of passengers here, but many of them are caught unaware. But as soon as they found out, they said that they are disappointed and that they have to make adjustments starting tomorrow. One modern PUV driver even said that the free ride has also helped him in convincing passengers to get on and off the proper stops, as violations can result in the removal of such benefit. According to the LTFRB, the Bayanihan to Recover as One Act, or Bayanihan 2, which allowed for disbursements of a total of 5 billion pesos for PUV drivers, expires today after the extension of the law failed to pass both chambers of Congress. Under the program, the LTFRB will pay a particular amount to drivers for every kilometer that they travel so that they can provide free rides. In other modes of transport, particularly jeepneys, the LTFRB pays 27 pesos per kilometer to augment drivers' income from fares that they get from passengers so that they can sustain their service even if there aren't much passengers because of strict quarantine protocols. The program has so far provided free rides to 27 million passengers and helped 40,000 drivers. However, this is still lower than the target of 60,000 drivers. That's why only 1.5 billion pesos was spent. LTFRB officials said the remaining amount will have to be remitted back to the Bureau of the Treasury. LTFRB Chairman Martin Delgra said they have already reached out to the budget department so they can spend 3 billion pesos from their own coffers for the extension of the program until December. Charles, the LTFRB said that as to whether this program will be extended or not is now in the hands of the budget department. Charles.
Thanks for that, Gerard. That was Gerard de la Peña reporting live from EDSA in Quezon City. And those are the top stories at this hour. Join us again later at 2 p.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com so you can stream One News live anytime and anywhere. I'm Charles Lejano. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.